Now we start talking about the first major sequence we are having in this chapter called arithmetic sequence. It is a sequence which has a common difference between any terms and its preceding term. Does it sound like very terrible? Yes, agree. And then, so that's why I would like to use an easier way to present it, which is arithmetic sequence indeed itself is just talking about you're using addition or subtraction of a certain constant in order to get the next number. And this constant is called common difference. For example, like sort of like the one on the notes, you have 2 plus 3, you have a 5, plus 3, you have a 8, plus 3, you have a 11, etc. Can you see that in order to get the next term, you are continue to do addition, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. And then so this is called arithmetic sequence because you're using addition. And this word called common difference, normally we use the word d. D will be the value of 3 because you're adding 3. Similarly, you have like the next example, 16, 11, 6, 1, -4, etc. And then in order to get the next number, you are going to -5, -5, -5, so and so. So that's why this is also an example of arithmetic sequence. You are talking about minus a certain number continuously. And in this case, d itself would be called -5. This is called the common difference. Besides the letter d, which is important in arithmetic sequence, meaning the common difference, and then the first value, it is a starting point, which is also very important in studying sequence. And this value, so that's why we give a letter to represent it, which is called A. It means the first term. So from now on, you have to bear in mind these two wording. One is called the first term, which is letter A. The other one is common difference, which is called D in our arithmetic sequence. Then next, we have a formula for the general term of sequence. Of course, you need to remember it, but let's test whether you are talented enough to deduce the formula by yourselves. Let's start. Now you will see that in order to, so the meaning of arithmetic sequence is the first letter, first number is A, first term. In order to get the next one, it's called A plus D one more time, so A plus 2D, A plus 3D, and so on. I think if we check for the position itself, it's called T1, first number, T2, second number, T3, third number, T4, fourth number, etc. Do you find out something tricky between the blue words and also the green words? Not that easy, right? And then now I give you tips. The tip is when you have T1 first term, is that there's no D, 0, 0D. When you are talking about term 2, 1D plus 1D. T3, 2D. T4, 3D, etc. Can you see that for the position itself, it also tells you how many D is going to add in the formula. So that's why in order to get the general term, we call Tn. The notation a bit different to the one I'm using in blue, doesn't matter. In order to get the term, so you see that the formula itself should carry number 1. There should be A plus some amounts of D over there. If you can recognize the yellow tips over there, T1, 0, T2, 1D, T3, 2D, T4, 3D, etc. Can you make a guess? So for how many D we are going to add in order to get the general term, that means the nth term. Yes, that's good. It's called n minus 1D. 1 less than the position, that means the value of n. So it comes to the formula of arithmetic sequence in order to get the general term called A plus n minus 1 D. So from now on, please remember the formula very clearly. All right, so let's now read the first example. The question itself, it tells you very clearly that it's an arithmetic sequence with 11, 3, 7, 3 minus 1 afterward. It's asking you about the first term A and also the common difference D. It's very easy to get the first term because you just read the first number, first term, first number. So that's why A is 11. But how to get the common difference D? You can use a very simple formula called D will be obtained by the latter term minus the previous term. And this is the way that we can find the common difference in formula. So what does that mean? It means like you can pick any two numbers which are next to each other, for example 11 and 7. Then you have 7 minus 11 is minus 4. This is the common difference. You can pick other pair like 3 and 7. 3 minus 7 is minus 4 as well. So that's why the common difference will be minus 4. You can write the answer directly. Coming up next, you are asked to find the general term Tn of the sequence. Do you still remember the general term of arithmetic sequence? Hopefully yes, which is Tn is a plus n minus 1 times d. But please note that in this formula, in this general term, the main point will be you have to know a and d, which are constants that we had find already in part A. While n is always in the formula itself because it's talking about substitution, it's talking about the position of the number you're going to find. So once you get a and d, then it's just a simple question about substitution, which is 11 plus n minus 1 times minus 4. Another thing I would like to put a star here because some of you will just stop and think that is an answer. Sorry, it's not, because you have not simplified the brackets yet. That's why you need to continue to expand the brackets, which is 4m plus 4, should be minus 4n plus 4. And finally, it's minus 4n plus 15. This is the general term of the sequence. At last, T11, 11th term, that means you are talking about put n to be 11, which is minus 44 plus 15, which gives you minus 29. It's not very difficult, right? The main points of the question would be, can you find the way to get the first term and common difference? Number 2, can you use these values of a and d in order to find the general term of the sequence? And number 3, after you have the formula, the general term, then you can find any term in the sequence by substitution. For example, in part C, you are asked to find the 11th term. Another question I would like to read with you would be example 10, which is you are asked to find the first positive term of the sequence, more accurately, arithmetic sequence. Of course, some of you are smart enough, you can write down the numbers one by one, because you have minus 52 minus 49, so you are adding 3 every time, So the next number continuously will be minus 43, minus 40, minus 37, and onward, until the first number, which is positive, then that's your answer. Yes, correct, but can we use the general term to solve the question? So that's why we will begin with the question with writing the first term as well as common difference first, because they are the core values in order to find the general term of an arithmetic sequence. So that's why Tn will be minus 52 plus n minus 1 times d, which is minus 52 plus 3n minus 3. And lastly is 3n minus 55. This is your Tn. In order to explain the meaning of first positive term, then that means Tn should be positive, right? So what should be the symbol to be put? Yes, greater than. So that's why now you have 3n minus 55 greater than 0, 3n greater than 55, or n greater than 55 over 3. If you check the calculator carefully about this number, this is around like 18.333 many threes afterward. That means whenever the n is greater than this value, 18.333, then you obtain the first positive term. So that's why the first positive term is T19, and which is the value called 3 times 19 minus 55, which is 2. Not very hard, right?